This is Sophie Aldred with The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS.
Hello, fellow Whovians, and welcome to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Hello! Are you ready for a robot revolution? Are you? Because I am. Because that's what we got today. We've got the Robot Revolution, the amazing first episode, or maybe not amazing, depends on your opinion, of the second season of Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor. It's going to be a great time. We had a live watch party at, for me, 1 a.m. For some people, it was 8 o'clock in the morning. Mark, the Candyman, joined us from the UK, where it dropped at 8 a.m. on iPlayer. I stayed up nice and late for you, for all of you, so we could watch it together. And we're going to do that at least for the first few, hopefully the whole season. There's at least one date I'm not sure about, but we'll see what happens. In the meantime, thank you guys for joining us today. Polish. Yes. So start things off. I'm going to bring in our producer for the day. He's not only, that's all he's going to be doing. He's just going to be hiding in the background for most of the show. Hey, Christian.
Yep, somebody's going to run this ship. Somebody's going to steer the TARDIS. So, hello, everybody. Yep.
Otherwise, what happens is we get a theme, no theme, theme, no theme, theme, no theme, theme, no theme, theme, no theme.
Oh, that was all you, pal. That was all you. Feel my pain now when you hit that button and nothing happens, and then you hit it again and nothing happens. And you
weren't turning it off?
No,
you weren't trying to hit it.
You were going through the motions. I left it alone, so I was just like, nope. I told you that's my pain.
Weird.
Sometimes you hit the button and then it'll start playing and then stop and start playing. And I was like, oh, he's making a rap song out of it. So, so yeah. Yeah.
Whack.
And everybody, hello. Yep. I'm going to be producing tonight. I will be giving one review, but it's not going to be mine. It's going to be our friend Faith. We'll be giving her review on the Robot Revolution.
Exactly.
So
did Faith give us a number?
That's a good. She gives it at the end.
Okay. So we'll use her we'll put her number in, just put it in the private chat, and we'll bring you in there. We'll just kind of pop you. Nope, not we're gonna switch that around.
Sure.
Defaults to number 1, which for me is that. In the meantime, let's bring in Reverend Amagon. He's having his own little concert there, so we'll just take him out and let him. We'll bring in David. Hello, Mr. Grisbane Adams.
Hello, Mr. Chapman.
How's it going?
I am as excited as a very excited person who has a particular reason to be excited.
Awesome. All right, let's try Rev again. You there now? You're still gonna be quiet. Say hello.
Hello.
Okay, good.
I paused it. I'm now addicted to the band Ghost, mainly because a soon to be, I'm going to make it sure she is former co-host of that other show you and I are on.
Mm-hmm.
She got me addicted to it. It's like, okay, no, I actually bought the album from Target, pre-order, and I don't buy LPs. It's always something. Save me.
Fabulous.
I'm taking.
And welcome back, our good friend. Our philosophy is, Sean, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Dave. Thanks for having me back.
Anytime. You are always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much.
We've got a big show, so we're going to bring in Gadget. Hey, Gadget.
Hey.
So we're just going to roll right in here, and what we'll do is I'm going to we'll just go straight into the news. How about that? Roll right. Does that sound like a good thing to just roll right into?
Yeah, probably, yeah, because
All right,
it's a lot of news finally. It's a lot.
Excellent.
Yep. Well, how is everybody so far? Because the mood I'm getting tonight is I think we better get the sadness out of the way and just go to all the wackiness, the craziness, and why there might not be a hiatus or might be a hiatus because of other things and stuff. And please don't. My cat has a bone to pick with the writers and everything right now and stuff. Yeah. Don't have your cat sitting on you watching that one scene, because that's also part of the news. Because
by defense, you sent that to me.
I know, because in case we needed it, because some people might be discussing it and everything, because most people that's the most important thing that's being discussed over the internet, not the actual show, but the cat and everything.
The internet is for cats.
Mm-hmm. And no cats are being harmed during the taping, guys. Don't worry. Everybody's cat is safe and everything. It's just, oh God, they have to write that in. That there was no point in writing that in. But let's start with something sad first. And it's I don't know how many of you have watched Willow, have watched Return to Oz, and I didn't even know this one, that she was John Pertwee's wife from 1955 to 1960. It's Jean Marsh, and we lost her the other day on April 13th, 2025. She basically, I didn't even know, co-created ITV series Upstairs and Downstairs, you know? Like, I'm just finding out all this stuff right now because I couldn't place her at first. And then when I started seeing Willow again and everything, I said, oh, now I know who she is. And she was a lovely lady. Everybody was saying like so many things and stuff. And even she was in the Twilight Zone episode. She has been in so many things with Sir Lawrence, Olivier. What else has she been in? Episode of UFO. She has done a lot of things, but she is known for Doctor Who. And I'd never seen the episodes and everything. So the only things I could say is that she was known as Joan of England in The Crusade, Sarah Kingdom as a companion for the first Doctor, and then a villain opposite the seventh Doctor and everything, poor Sylvester and everything. But she will be missed. And if anyone has anything they want to put in the comments about ever meeting her or anything, because everyone I've spoken to has said she was a wonderful lady and stuff. So now that we got sadness out of the way and everything, let's start with some 3 happy birthdays. And believe it or not, 2 of them are only a day apart and 7 years apart. So let's start with our own 5th Doctor, Peter Davison. He turned 74 on the 13th of April and basically is still going strong. I mean, he's got to take care of the grandkids too and everything. And David's probably giving him a run for his money sometimes too, with all the jokes and everything they pull off each other. And let's see what else. We also have our favorite 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi, who turns, it doesn't even look it, 67 years old on the 14th. And basically, I think he has a new album coming out as well and everything with his bandmates and stuff. I was trying to find what the name is of it, but I haven't seen it yet. So I don't know if they released it yet or it's going to be a surprise for everybody. But he's still touring around. He's still playing his guitar and everything and stuff. And let's see, who else do we have? Well, speaking of time themes, we've got Back to the Future star Thomas F. Wilson, turning 66 years old on, believe it or not, today, tax day of all day. So if you paid your taxes yet, guys, and everything. And he has gotten a chance to hold the TARDIS, as you see there and everything. But right now he's... he's doing well and everything, and hopefully we'll get to see him at the next convention coming up and everything. I'm trying to see which one it is, but they haven't posted. Okay, it's not posted yet, but he is going to be at this next convention. I think it's supposed to be somewhere in the Midwest. Yeah, they haven't posted it yet. All right, so look out for him with the gang. They're going to probably do some more autographs and signings. But this is where we get a little bit. How do we put this? They're about the hiatus and everything, because you guys can take this with a grain of salt. You guys can put 2 and 2 together, but Ncuti, he's a hot commodity and everything. He basically is going to be starring in a new play, and I gotta get the name of the play right. Right? It's let's see, the end premiere of Liz Duffy Adams, Born with Teeth, where it stars Ncuti as, let's see, Edward Blummel, and Edward Blummel, Ncuti and Edward Blummel playing Shakespeare and Christopher Marlowe. And I'm trying to see, because they redid something here, because I had it all written out for you guys, and I'm so sorry, but they redid this just now and everything. The synopsis, they just redid it. Why did they just change it on me? I'm so sorry, guys. I had it up and they just changed it. Something's up. All right, they must have changed it for a reason. But it's supposed to be the relationship between playwright William Shakespeare and the companion that he meets. I can't pronounce it. I'm so sorry.
Also, playwright Christopher Marlowe. The title is a reference to Henry VI, Part 3.
Thank you.
Richard Gloucester says that he was born with teeth, he's, of course, Richard III. He's deformed. He was born with teeth, signifying that he should bite and become a monster. So presumably it is about a quite contentious relationship between the two.
Yeah, because what they have here, I don't want to put out there, because they have it as a different version of what the play is about and everything. And I'm not going to say what they just said there. And I'm very surprised at this website, because I just had it up and it was perfect and everything. At the same time, he's also going to be in and coming out this September 2025 in a movie with Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman, former Doctor Who's actress as well. She played in the episode with 11 and everything. Was it Prisoner Zero, right?
Yeah, she was Prisoner Zero in
Prisoner Zero. Hour. Yeah. And they're going to be starring in The War of the Roses, and guest starring also as Ncuti. He'll be in the shop scenes and everything. So look out for him there. And oh boy, he's all over the place. And he also has another movie coming out, which is in production right now with everything. But I think part of it is going to be interesting, because they supposedly finished taping the sequel, the Doctor Who sequel of the War Between the Land and the Sea. So if I'm going right on what's been happening and some of my contacts, the reason why we're not getting information on the second season is because while it's on a possible alleged hiatus, it would make sense to have the spinoff in the hiatus time slot. And then when Ncuti's finished with all his hot commodities and everything, basically we get our doctor back, because everything is playing out throughout everything. And they're looking at about 5 episodes so far taped already of the war between the land and the sea. And you've got Russell T Davies doing the first episode. You got Peter McTighe doing the second and third, and then a combo with Russell and Peter on the fourth, and then Russell has the 5th episode. But everything is to be announced, but it's basically done in the can and ready to go 2025. So it just correlates perfectly with everything. But that's speculation right now on some parts of what I've been scuttlebutted and heard and everything through the grapevine. But speaking of grapevine and everything, we actually have Graham Norton premiering in one of the episodes too of the new season and everything. And he basically will be in the singing contest episode as playing himself. So it's funny how it's a lot of
The
that
Interstellar
Ncuti was
Song
on.
Contest. Yeah.
Yeah, Ncuti was on his show and was going to talk about season 3, but then it got cut, and then and now we got Graham on there. So what was the correlation? Did they slip that Graham was going to be on? We don't know, but I know spoilers are the main thing of what people come looking for. But like I said, it's all alleged. It's all except for the Graham Norton part. Watch out for that. But I'm hoping tonight's episode that we review. Yeah, because a lot of people are talking more about Lux than this one. So let's see what happens. But that's it for the news right now and stuff. But I am so sorry, guys, about that one with the play and everything, because the site just changed something.
That's okay. It happens.
Yeah, and it was
I'm just
something that
upset
should not be released to the public yet.
I'm
Yeah.
just upset that it launches just after
Mhm.
just after I leave. It's because I'm so used to doing it myself, and Kristen is doing it, and so I'm pushing buttons.
Everybody's night is so miserable. I can sense it because everyone's either been through hell and back or watched this episode and looked at it like, what the hell did I watch?
You know, on the bright side with Graham Norton, the Graham Norton piece of news you talked about. I mean, we've also had Graham Norton just like outright interrupting Doctor Who before. Like, I mean, like trying to voice the mannequins in Rose, just completely interrupting Doctor Who. So now he's getting what he wants. You know, he's actually getting to be in the show since he just so rudely interrupted it in the first season. So,
but the only other thing is that even tonight, like with this episode, Mrs. Flood is been over the thing between the cat and Mrs. Flood. I don't know what this internet is looking for because, like I said, this episode, when I give my review, I don't know. I don't know what to give you guys. I'm going to be honest, because my poor cat is traumatized.
Gadget, I have the video you
backwards
sent me.
from you.
Ooh, I have the video you sent me. You want me to go ahead and play it?
Yeah, because I want you guys to guess. That's the one thing I want you guys to guess. Who do you think Mrs. Flood is? Because there's so much speculation, and the way she was talking, she was leading into something, and I've been like, I'm so lost right now, but at the same time, I'm still going with what I think it is.
Okay, hang on. Let's play the video.
I was hoping a little bit. I suppose that some of the things I thought might happen, but you have to wait and see.
Before you discovered who exactly she was, did you have your own theories? Were you speculating?
I did. I thought, because I talked to my makeup girl and the costume people, we would have a little get together, and I said, I think this. And they go, no, it's one of that. Oh, well, what about that? Yeah. And then I go to these Comic Cons and the fans would say, we think she's that, we think she's that. And in the end I thought, Anita, don't worry about it. All will be revealed eventually when he's ready. And sure enough,
Were you close at all with your guesses? Or?
Halfway. I was half and half. Yeah, but I was teetering a bit. But I was hoping a little bit. I suppose that some of the things I thought might happen, but you have to wait and see. I was hoping.
So she was hoping. Who are you guys hoping?
I'm hoping she's not the woman who calls me up every day to get my car warranty insurance extended.
Exactly. I'm just happily waiting to see who it is. It'll be great.
No speculations, right?
None.
You want to be surprised.
Mm-hmm. I want to see your
I
husband.
want to be surprised too. Yeah.
I do love that she's playing the doddering old fool so well.
Yes.
And then turns into whatever else she is and breaks the fourth wall. I love it. It was a great little scene with her. But we can talk about a little bit later.
Yes.
Sean, what was 1 to 10? How many TARDISes did you give this episode? Just your number for now.
Me? Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Or were you not? Oh, you were. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I figured since you said just your number for now, that was probably for me.
Yes.
I thought you were doing a De Niro. Are you talking to me?
Talking to me?
You talking to me?
No. Well, you guys, I have to say, unfortunately, me who last review gave Russell T Davis's Doomsday a perfect 10 out of 10, can only give this episode 5 pseudo Cybermen out of 10. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
Now we're changing our icon. Thanks.
Right.
And David, what about you?
A 4.
4.
And that's being generous.
All right.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Oh, man.
Add a little sizzle.
Tom, what about you?
I changed my number. I still kind of liked it, so I'll go.
You still got to go
I'll drop it
first.
down
Tom.
to 6. Save me from the.
What have you decided? I
3.
watched the last.
3.
Holy shnikes.
3. I when I found out what he was like, what happened, and the thingy and what he did to her, and I'm like, yeah, and something that people might have missed.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's start with you then, Gadget. What? Because you are the lowest.
Yeah.
So let's let you go first.
Oh,
and
God.
then once you're done, we'll go to a commercial.
Okay. Well, the reason I gave it a 3 was it was too fast, had no plot. They almost killed her by bumping into her. I was watching that squish. They killed the cat for no reason. What else? There was a slip up because I know the doctor didn't tell her something about the TARDIS and everything. And to find well, how do you get 3 villains in one, and also the villain gets his own comeuppance because of what he's been turned into and everything. But it was just one of those like roller coaster ones of like, this could have been an ending episode instead of a beginning episode. This is like, okay, I already have one companion. I'm going to add another. To me, I'm adding a companion episode. And I was like, because at first it's like, okay, you have the boyfriend give you the thing. Okay, you have this and everything. Cutesy thing that they did back in that time and everything and stuff.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I'm sorry to cut you off. You mean like she should have been a second companion, or
yeah? Because the feel I got was he should have been already with another, like not Ruby, but maybe he would have found like he had another companion.
Gotcha.
And then he picked up her.
Got it.
To
a certain extent, he did.
Kinda, but like it would have been that he was already traveling with somebody. Because I know we don't want, because Sasha technically would have counted as a companion, but the same thing up there with the cat. You don't kill off the ones that could be potentials, and everything and stuff. But because to get 3 villains in one, because he did fight a Dalek, he did fight a Cyberman, and he did fight Davros. Okay, and I'm just like, are they just like throwing stuff in there because they're running out of ideas? And everything, but then to have the controlling freak of a boyfriend turn himself into a robot because she slipped up because of a time flux and everything, and then get his comeuppance later. But then this is where I was like it's all over the place the way I'm doing this review, because that's how I felt watching this and everything. It was all over the place, and the way in order for me to see it was it would have been like just have this like a 5th or 4th episode down. And then done all the other like fun stuff had been with Sasha and all the other things going on, seeing that, because to start out with, oh, here's a star for you. Okay, cute and everything. Then you got, she's working, and I swear she's Martha, but we'll not go there and everything, going back and forth, trying to do everything. And he's trying to find her. And then he shuts down the whole hospital. I'm like, okay, that's one thing you don't do. And then this scene was in her bedroom. It's like they're landing and everything. And I'm like, how do you not hear this? The whole neighborhood does not hear a rocket falling and everything and stuff. They can hear the TARDIS, but don't hear a rocket falling. And then they're breaking through and everything and stuff like that, tearing apart the house, tearing apart everything, shooting the cat, grabbing her diploma, ripping it and everything. Don't cross the streams type of thing. And basically, like, bringing her and like, oh, the cat did this and Mrs. Flood out there, bye-bye. And I'm like she doesn't even care. The girl is like, should I call the cops? Should I call somebody? And then when she sees the doctor, goes like, oh, not you again, And I'm like it just was like made no sense. And then to have the body meld and everything else to take the hit and everything, that was hysterical. And then when the polish 50s robot decided to polish up the guy and everything, Yeah, I should have given it a 2, but I was being fair because I feel bad for the cat. And the fact that she had a boyfriend that was a control freak and wanted her to behave like submissive, like a handmaiden.
All right.
Yeah. But I did want to say one thing I did find out. She has a lot of things with sunflowers and yellow around her. And that was what threw me off on some of it too.
I hadn't noticed.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I'll see what happens with the second episode.
Yeah. I mean, we've been getting great, advanced reviews are very positive for the next episode, so it'll be definitely interesting. But that's a whole nother conversation. That's next week's conversation.
That's what I understand. Why I see more positive reviews. Nobody's even seen the episode and got more positive reviews than this one did.
Yeah. But let's go to a commercial break.
Mm-hmm.
And when we come back, we will we'll have David and his little kitty. Hello, kitty.
Charlotte
She decided she needed some cuddles.
Oh,
where's the cat alert? There it is.
No cats were harmed.
Ding,
Look, see, she's giving kisses.
ding,
No cats were harmed.
ding.
I'm not paying extra for the cat to be on. That's all.
No, the cat has to have its own opinion because Ari gave it 1 star.
getting paid?
All right,
Mostly in compliments to my
commercial break,
ego.
and then David and Charlotte will come back when we get back.
All right, here we go. People stand by, dematerializing into the commercial.
I'm author Mark Muncy.
And I'm author Erica Lance.
And this is Eerie Travels.
Greetings, travelers. Join us as we travel through folklore, myths, monsters, legends, and dark history.
Now, we'll be your guide to the spooky side of reality as we discuss cryptids, paranormal, and all things preternatural.
Sometimes we find the truth is way scarier than fiction.
We're on twice a week on your favorite podcast platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube.
We have amazing guests from all of the areas of the strange and unusual, including witnesses, investigators, and more.
Yeah, with Erica's curiosity and ridiculous array of pop culture and true crime knowledge.
And Mark's decades of experience diving into folklore and the legends with the truth that's behind them.
Yeah, so join us, travelers, as we take you to the edge of reality, and we'll see you on the other side.
We are a touring acoustic duo crashing kitchens around the country. We go from house to house every Friday night and we create music, we create food, a good time, we stream it live and we do it for free. So now we're just really kind of like trying to develop it and build a community group that people believe in, then they'll help us. So we played from our rehearsal room, we played from the bathroom, thankfully that didn't catch on.
I probably played guitar in my room, not for anyone, in front of anyone, nobody heard, for probably about 10 years.
And then one Friday night we played from the kitchen. It's the main place people want to be. It's where the food is, it's where the drink is, it's where the best lighting is. You can go to any party and I guarantee you, the kitchen is going to be popping.
Our ultimate goal, I think, would be to crash kitchens every Friday all around the world.
Are you a movie nerd? Do you collect VHS, DVDs, CDs, records, and so much more? Are you looking for clothing from 1940s to 2000s? Do you need cosplay or themed outfits? Come to Ducky's Vintage. We have it all for all budgets, located at the Oviedo Mall right off of the 417. Ducky's Vintage for those born in the wrong decade.
Hello there, everyone. I'm Ashley Eckstein. Most of you may know me as the voice of Ahsoka Tano and also the founder of WHOniverse. And this is the legend of the Traveling TARDIS.
Gadget's got a star named after her.
Yep. I asked you guys if you want one.
It's true. Welcome back, everybody.
Still can't find it. It exploded.
Exactly. Cheers, everybody.
Mhm.
Ding. just an excuse to show off my Erie Travel mug. Ding.
Oh, Dave, just a pro tip, just a production tip. When you go through like multiple videos, if you can hit the button for the next video within 2 seconds before the other one expires, you can actually succinct it in. It'll actually go into order, so you don't have to trip over when you trip over. Because if you're doing just one video, it doesn't matter. But if you're doing like multiple videos, like when doing the intros, if you do it like 3 seconds before the previous video ends, it actually just blends right into the other one.
Yeah, all good to know.
I thought that was going to be a tip about the mug. I told you.
The tip is mugs are cool.
Damn it.
Dave,
As
always
is
show the
Erie
mug.
Travel.
Always show the mug, Dave.
That's so pathetic.
Wait. I got to do it proper. Everybody's got their 3D glasses on.
3D glasses, sure, no problem.
Everybody in our audience just got hit by a mug.
Cheers. Boom.
Damn.
Take that.
Take that.
Concussion.
Yep, got my 3D glasses.
And the next thing you're going to have to take is a tongue lashing.
Go ahead.
Because you gave it a fairly low score.
I'm waiting to hear this one.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I gave it a 4, and like I said, that was being charitable. My thoughts on this one remain unfocused because I'm still zeroing in on what it is that bothers me so much about it, and really what it amounts to is it's bad writing. I mean, the summary that I actually came up with is it's stupid. It's a stupid episode. And I actually like the idea. Well, first I want to get out of the way. I like Belinda. I like the character, and I really like what they're setting up with. She is an unwilling companion. She sees the danger in the Doctor more clearly than most companions have, even the ones that have some empathy for him but regard him as dangerous. She just straight up sees how unbelievably dangerous he is, even without connecting the unbelievably stupid scene. I saw that Daleks Are Forever in the chat there pointed out, like, the Doctor killed basically everyone in the ICU of a hospital just for a joke. In terms of the episode, it was for a joke, because they for some reason Russell T Davies thought that was funny, and that's just insane. But I really like that she's an unwilling companion, and that's going to make her an interesting voice moving forward.
We used to call her Clara.
Yeah. And but and speaking of and that sort of leads me into what the closest I've gotten so far in terms of thinking about what my issue with the episode is, the using the implicit, well, I mean, they don't want you to think about it. They don't want you to think about all the people that just died because of the Doctor. Also the cat. Although I am a cat lover, obviously, just killing the cat wouldn't be enough for me to actually be upset with the episode. I mean, that kind of thing, I don't like it, but it's effectively done in, like, the original Halloween. Like, he kills a dog because that is, and it's used in films as an important symbol to establish the stakes. This is a being or whatever, villain or what have you, that doesn't care about innocence. It doesn't care about vulnerability. It is just malevolent or uncaring at the very least. But the thing is, they instantly try to play it for laughs. with her going out of the, like when she's being escorted out. Oh, and tell what's her name that her cat's gone off to live on a farm. Or it's not funny in the first place, and trying to play. Thank you, Charlotte. Play it for laughs it just does not work, and that is what bugs me. They don't know. They can't decide what they want the episode to be. The comparison that instantly occurs to me is Star Trek Insurrection. The stated purpose when they made that movie was they wanted to try to make another Star Trek 4, which was the lighthearted one of the original cast Star Trek. So they wanted to show the lighter side of the cast. They wanted to be funny and all that kind of stuff. But then they gave us these weird genocidal aliens as the villains. The stakes, and even the original had high stakes, the elimination of all humankind, but it was unthinking. It was there wasn't a malevolent force going on. It was an accident. In Insurrection and in this episode, we're supposed to have a fun, lighthearted idea that I actually really like as the hook for an episode, for a silly, stupid episode. What if the nonsense scams that are by naming a star? I have one. My grandfather, for some reason, exchanged money for one of these things, and it's not interesting or valuable enough for me to have dug through my boxes just to show it to you. And it's an embarrassment that it exists, frankly, but I like the idea that somehow cosmically an entire planet has taken it too dang seriously. That is the basis of an incredibly funny episode, but they didn't. That's not what they did. They decided to have a weird non-misdirect, because we know who the actual companion after this episode will be. So they introduce us a potential companion who is going to travel with the Doctor, and oh, she's dead. Okay, that's not clever at all. And we're supposed to feel really intensely about losing her, which is so effective. And then it's the fate of an entire planet due to this Ouroboros of nothing that we don't even know really where it started, because we don't know how the star certificate ended up 5,000 years in the past. I assume that's part of the overall arc of the season. So hopefully that will at least be sort of redeemed, I guess. But like everything within the episode where the time fracture, again, I assume that's going to factor into the rest of the season, and people leaving and returning in different time scales. Okay, whatever. None of it mattered. Absolutely none of it was important or interesting. And also on the same, following on my on what I said about having disjointed tones, you've also got murder machines shaped like something out of Disneyland. And yes, that also it works. It works as a general idea. They've done that numerous times on Doctor Who. This time, it just further contributes to the disjointedness, because they're never really menacing aside from the fact that they will kill you. There's nothing else about them that sort of, where you have that turn and suddenly this cute thing is deadly.
Well, that was the cat part.
Well, yeah, the cat part, Sasha 55, they're proven to be deadly, but it's never really like this. As soon as it kills the cat, it puts a little cat face on it. The cat does not matter. Like, no,
He said shite. He said shite face.
I didn't
YouTube.
say anything, actually. I said no shit. And then it does. And that's the thing. The entire episode does not seem to matter. It seems like they just had a bunch of disjointed ideas left over that they wished they could have fit in other episodes. They tossed them in a blender, and then they made this episode with a handful of seeds for the rest of the season, sort of hidden amongst it. Mrs. Flood is great. The Belinda, like I said, is great. I assume the time fracture and how that star certificate ended up back in the past, I assume those are going to become important. But at this point, I don't care.
Fair. So I have a question. You mentioned that part of your problem with Sasha 55 was that we know she's not going to be a companion.
Yeah.
And so the misdirect was a fail. Would you feel differently if we didn't already know that?
Absolutely. That would have been good writing.
A rating fail, or is that a marketing suit fail?
It's a combination of both. I mean, the parallel I would draw for that is the movie from last year, Abigail. That script does not work the way that it was written if you know that the little girl is a vampire going in, and you can't not know that. I knew nothing about that movie except that one detail when I saw it. And that's just ridiculous. You can't, and the thing is, that's the only thing interesting about that movie, so a little bit different than this situation. So the marketing team knew that that was the selling point for the audience if they didn't want to anger them. And so the writing was to blame there. This one, 6 of one, half dozen the other. Like, at the very least, they could have sold it as if they're like she'd been signed to a bunch of episodes or something, or whatever. Leak some disinformation to make it a surprise when she gets killed.
Okay. No, and I would love for them to do something like that.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like, I would love to see them just absolutely throw everybody off with something. Doesn't matter what. Something, please. But we do live in a world of spoilers, and yeah, RTD should have known better.
Yeah.
But I think that is, and I'll come back to that when I get to mine as well. But moving up the digits, we've had our 3, we've had our 4. Time for our 5. Our philosophy is middling.
Hi. Whoa, that was okay. That was a voice crack because I've been drinking a lot of cold water and sitting in silence.
Sorry.
So that's what I was. That's what I would sound like if I was Stooky Bill. So you got to hear that.
Love it.
Okay, so I have to say, first of all, Robert Rodriguez energy. Anybody? Did anybody else get like Spy Kids? I got big Spy Kids from this episode. Like,
I could go with that. Yeah, the aesthetic.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, I was watching this like, I'm just waiting for Carmen and Junie to like show up, for the Cortezes to put on their 3D glasses. I'm sorry, I was a Spy Kids kid when I was younger. I want to talk about that. I just want to mention that, I should say. And the other thing I want to mention, because this doesn't get talked about very much, is the music in the episode. It was quite good. I think Murray Gold's actually, is it still Murray Gold that's doing this? Yep. Okay. Yeah. I think he's starting to come into his own again, because that first season was good, but at the same time, like I think the most memorable cue from that first season was the Sutek thing, and I'm pretty sure that was a recycle. So, yeah, I think the music in this was pretty good, especially that sort of under the surface string theme that's going all the time when they're sort of walking around on. In that new world. So I do think the music is quite good. It's an improvement. I would have liked to see them do something a little different with the title sequence, because that's something that RTD doesn't really like to do, is like just change his title sequences a lot, like Stephen Moffat did. But that's the surface level stuff. I did give this a 5, as Dave mentioned. So I have to say first, I appreciate what RTD was trying to do. I appreciate what he's trying to do because the underlying idea, I mean, it's been mentioned already, but like it's a good hook. And some of the ideas he's talking about, you know, just the idea of showing this sort of relationship that she was in, you know, where it's like, okay, she's reluctant. Maybe she doesn't realize she's reluctant because just, you know, he's established that pattern of just toxic behavior instead of just, you know, a lot of times when we see stuff like that in episodes, it is very, very kind of in your face. And like those kinds of things need to be explored as well because they exist. But just like, you know, thinking back as an adult on a prior relationship and being like, oh yeah, that was super toxic and I didn't like that. And like, you know, that turning into what we see at the end. I understand what Russell is trying to do there. I think it was horribly mismanaged. This is a case where I think we need someone probably younger who has more understanding of like, okay, this is how the internet targets people who are angry about certain things and uses, let's say, media, maybe like media consumption, you know, making it seem like, you know, everyone's just after men all the time, or just, you know, isolating you, making it think that, you know, the problem isn't you. The problem is that all women just hate you because you're a man. Like that exists, right? But like RTD, I think, was like, let me just throw it in the silly robot episode. It's like, that's not a very good idea. I think it does more harm than good. I mean, and you can explore things like that in sillier episodes, but you need to be able to do that well. Like, I don't want to say like, oh, you can't do that. It needs to be in its own episode. Like that'd probably be better if it was in a more serious episode, I think. Because like I understand that viewpoint too. Like I honestly, if I was making decisions there, I'd be like, don't throw this in the silly robot episode. But if you're gonna do that, you need to have someone who has a complex understanding of that issue so that they can write it in such a way where it's not going to be disrespectful or disingenuous or just unduly light about it, right? So with that being said, actors really solid. You have to apologize. I have to apologize, guys. There are some allergens in the air, and I have really bad allergies, so it's going to sound like I'm getting really choked up about this bad episode. No, there are allergens in the air.
No, many of us cried in this episode just when it was going to be over.
And just to show you guys, like, I'm not like, I think I had a lot of different issues than a lot of you had, which is really great because I mean we get to talk about it and stuff. Full disclosure, guys, you might think less of me. I thought the cat thing was really funny. Like because it was so stupid and it was so crass. I just was like, yeah, it made me laugh. Like it did. Because at first I did that thing where I was like, oh man. Then I laughed about it. Mrs. Flood I liked because, you know, I don't know what's going on with her yet. I haven't really watched anything. So all that was kind of a good setup. At first I didn't know it was gonna go on with this certificate thing. Like, what is this? And then they get this setup here. And then from the minute that they said the AI generator, I went, oh no. Like the first time they said AI generator, because I know what they're I know what they're tackling there, right? They're talking about like, you know, people who grew up and they're lonely, and you know, we have the AI revolution right now, and people you know, maybe having toxic behavior enforced by AI because AI doesn't respond the same way a human would, right? To bad behavior. So like that stuff I understand, but I just think RTD either doesn't understand this or thinks he understands it. It's like these are complex issues and you don't address them by just like making fun of a group of angry people. Like that just doesn't, that, I mean, now there's a difference between calling something out and sometimes even using mockery for people who are actively behaving badly. But like this is a situation where it's like a lot of people, especially young men, are being you know, people are taking advantage of them on the internet, and it's like you needed a polite conversation, or maybe not polite. You need an intelligent conversation about this, and especially at the end with polish, where they turn them into, let's say, two cells. Not only was that stupid, it was super out of character for the Doctor. Anybody like? People talked about, you know, the episode where they were talking about Amazon, like the Kerblam with Jodie Whittaker, where she basically tossed the bomb. People were talking about how out of character that seemed for her and how she handled that situation, this is worse than that. Like by a long shot. Because he's like, how amazing is this planet? He's dead. And I'm like, that's no, Ncuti, you didn't get me with that one. Or I should say Russell. Ncuti reading the line very well, I should add. But Russell's writing it. I'm like, yeah, this is not how you do that. So if it wouldn't have been for them trying to throw that conversation there, I would say this episode is basically like, I'd throw it in there with just a middle of the line. You know, those episodes around probably season 6, kind of the filler episodes around season 6 with Matt Smith, where it's like, okay, it was a silly episode about plastic people or something. Like you know what I mean? It was probably among that in the way I'd like it and how much I'd like it. But given that RTD tried to tackle something very serious like this, like toxic relationships and incels and like online, like this ain't it, brother. Like that's not how you do that. So I just I can only give it a 5, but I am curious to see what happens for the rest of the season. It did intrigue me. Earth is gone. That's kind of cool. As a hook to see what's going on with that. And I do like the companion being like, hey, maybe like don't use me as an adventure type thing. But I will add one more thing, and I know I'm kind of going long, but one more thing I had to add is the Doctor was kind of passive in this episode, wasn't he? Like I just thought him not being able to stop her from being taken away, I don't feel like he tried very hard. It's like, well, I shut down a hospital. What else can I do? It's like, you know, it's like, I don't know. I mean, you can do the whole, let's, you know, maybe the Doctor needs to take a step back thing without like the Doctor being, forgive me, a little inept sometimes. I think that balancing act can be done better. But anyway, that's my 5 out of 10.
That's fair. That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think we've got to. Everybody's got similar thoughts, just how they're all waiting.
Yeah,
how they weight certain issues within some of the same issues. What I'm kind of getting in a lot of this.
Surprised nobody's caught on to something that she said when the TARDIS appeared.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, I know, because I caught that. I was like, is that because of something? And I didn't want to bring it. I want to see who else caught it.
I definitely did. But before we get to me, let's do, because what we'll do is we're going to do Tom, and then we'll do me, and then Kristen's going to go through, see what you all in the chat said, and give us faiths. But for now, we've got Tom waking up. Wake up, Tom.
Get an air horn.
Tom, wake up.
Ah! Tuesday the night was dark and full of terror. Yeah.
My house?
Go visit them and tell them Taste the Cake sent you. So, my higher score was basically over last year's comparison. Last year's of, fantasy and this and that. Welcome to Fantasy Island. I am your host, Mr. Rourke. This sci-fi, like, okay, Flash. And this and that. The rocket looked like the same rocket that was in episode 10 of Solid Ground, which does not exist on YouTube, but that was my episode. I was the alien. So remnants of this, that, and the other thing, because I watched afterwards Dave and the Candy Man watch the show. 40 minutes. I watched it on Daily Motion. So it's kind of like zoom past me. It's like, okay, my short attention span when I'm trying to work on something else. That's scary too. I like the idea, Belinda, and then automatically get to the point. Yes, this is your successor from the future, and calling her Bells and Babes, because I did know to do that. The cat thing, no, don't like that. I kind of missed what Mrs. Flood said. It was like, you didn't see me. Something like, okay, a little nod there. Like, the Emotobots version 2 coming in to destroy everything. Yeah, the killing of the companions. Like, okay, we're gonna go together. Boom. Oh, thanks a lot. Just kill off a future companion, which was stupid. Aliens, whole this and that, all it kind of bored me. But again, it was comparing towards last year. So, Call Me the Nurse. That was hilarious. The dislocated arm. If I'd known that, my arm would not have been out of whack for about 3 or 4 weeks. Now I know how to put my arm back in place. So that was a nice little thing there. Something about she saying, "Oh, look at the TARDIS." I don't remember. The whole, Star Wars ending. Oh, everyone is so happy. But the two of them watching those interviews and the commercials afterwards, and they get along so well. It's like, well, I want to see their friendship in real life get into the series, because right now they're like, oh, I'm going to take you home the long way around. Just like every classic idea, the Doctor does not have control of the TARDIS, no matter how much it is. All Disney-fied with everything else, which I one bit, but at least we have something of Doctor Who. The polish, turn the guy into little bits and pieces. Yes, it was crude humor, but then again, the fact that the little I almost said it. The guy got what he deserved, even though it was very stupidly crude, and it was even beyond Disney standards. I was far beyond that. So, yeah, it wasn't spectacular. That guy reminds me of any comic book.
Shiny Davros.
Oh, the Davros. Oh, I don't even talk about the Davros thing. I remember that night, so I don't remember. We're not gonna. Ooh, yeah. What is he trying to do? Is like he created Doctor Who, brought it back. Everything was so spectacular. We had all these good ideas. Now it's like, now that he's in charge again, he's pulling all this crap, and people are dealing with it. So there goes the creaking noise. So much of real life going on, but we will not talk about that here or any other show related to us. I said that I would never do that.
Yeah.
Yes. Just gotta get Dave hosting somewhere. So yes, I gave it the higher score, also knowing that I would not go first, because every time to think and play the Candy Crush Soda Saga, which the battery died on the tablet. But again, comparing this year to last year, with the one with the cartoon and the motion pictures and as I expected, but I just didn't want to be throwing out the toxic. Like Dave was talking about other things. I was like, yeah, it got me thinking. Like, on my show, I will rave on the 2 live shows about everything about all these people. And I got a really nasty one I got to talk about on Wednesday. But, we're just trying to find something positive. But like, is there any real positive going on here? It was like the ending just kind of threw me as okay. And when Gadget was talking about how this connects to dates and that, I was like, okay. The back of my mind saying, yeah, I want to know. I want to know how all this is going to connect. Taking the long way home. Little flashes of sci-fi. Just too much fantasy. Oh, we're going to use sci-fi this time. Are you happy now? No, because it doesn't make sense. It was like, okay, 40 minutes. You end up killing a little polish. Got rid of the little. So at least I got to go last-ish. So it's not. Again, it's not. Everyone gave it such a nasty thing, but I'm just trying to find something good about it. Like everything else that's been brought about through his return to say, oh, things are going to get better, and it's obviously not.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll say that this is my least favorite of the Ncuti years now. Because I actually loved everything. Like, I finally caught up. I admitted on previous episodes I had not caught up yet. I have caught up. I loved everything, even Space Babies, aside from the god-awful CGI, I really liked.
So Space Babies is better than this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
At least it had a consistent theme and idea at its core, and it handled it well. Like it's not great, but
all right.
I agree with that.
So
So
yeah, I mean that's the reason why you're higher than me, is because you didn't care for especially the fantasy elements, which I agree. Christian made an argument on that last week about not particularly liking the drift into fantasy, and I can completely respect that. I like it myself. Actually, I don't have a reason. I just do. but yeah, that completely makes sense to me, that if you're not on board for that, then at least this is a return to form in that respect. I can understand that.
I don't think Cyborg 100 gets why he's saying polish, because if you go back to a David Tennant episode, there's a certain robot from Waters on Mars. Get it?
I could barely watch that. That freaked me out.
Waters on Mars. Gadget. Get it? He kept saying gadget. This one's saying polish. Also, it's a throwback to a 1950s car if you look at it.
Oh,
what's the next episode?
So for me, like I said, we'll go with me next, because I gave it a 7, and I kind of waffled. Do I give it a 7, 7.5? I'm a strong 7, believe it or not. And the reason is I agree with a lot of what was said here. Mm-hmm. Especially the writing issues, but I have to give a little bit of a benefit of the doubt in some of it, that I'm not sure that it was entirely just the writing. This felt a bit like what happened with Ant-Man and Quantumania.
Oh.
Quantumania got gutted in the editing suite, and they didn't do reshoots. And they couldn't do reshoots. I mean, there was CGI issues as well, but there was stuff left in the movie that referenced stuff that was left on the cutting room floor. And that's what a couple of these scenes felt like to me, especially when they bring the TARDIS back. I think this is what you were going to mention, Gadget. When they bring the TARDIS out, and she's, "Oh, is that your TARDIS?" Now, I'm going to guess that it was when their brains touched during the zappy zap thing.
That's what I thought at first.
That's the only thing I can think of. But that's one of the examples of, well, they just kind of dropped that in there. And there was a few moments throughout where it's like, where did that come from? Huh? And it really felt more like it was stuff that was cut out. And because this was one of the first episodes, and Ncuti's schedule outside of this, I'm wondering if they couldn't get back to do reshoots on this by the time they realized that they had cut certain things. And that would make a giant difference. If this had been a 90-minute episode, and I don't think there was 90 minutes worth of cutting room floor problem, but if this had been a 90-minute episode, some of those what the heck moments would have easily been clarified, I hope.
I'm just reading one. Sorry, I'm reading one of the comments. He said spaceship, not TARDIS to her. That's what threw me off.
Yeah, exactly. He said spaceship, which is weird for him to say to begin with. But that's what I'm saying. Somewhere else on the cutting room floor is probably footage of him telling her TARDIS. Or explaining that a little bit more of, hey, I just got, they zapped with the whole Blinovich limitation effect, the two diplomas touching and zapping everything, which for the record, I loved the effects there. So classic Doctor feel there. But somewhere in that speech of, I touched your mind, she obviously touched his. That makes sense, but they don't talk about it. Like, there's just so many points where it really feels like there was something missing, and it can't. RTD is not that incompetent of a writer to have completely missed the boat on certain things. Like, that's a gaffe of epic proportions if that was his writing. And I really don't have that little respect for him to think that he would drop that much of a ball.
So you're saying it could be like in season 1 where some stuff got shifted and that, maybe wasn't his decision?
Exactly. It's stuff that happened after the fact, and they couldn't reshoot things. They could, a lot. If it was a film, they always budget in a ton of money and time to reshoot stuff for exactly that thing. Oh, we've edited this out. This makes no more sense. Let's go back and reshoot this little scene over here. And then suddenly it works. They didn't or couldn't do that here. And that's what I really think a lot of the big plot holy type things came from, is from the editing, not from the writing.
Or could the plot holes be on purpose too, because of what he said going back in time?
And that's the other part of that is there's definitely a lot of setup happening in here.
Because who told him about her?
And we won't know. And I kind of think he's setting certain things up. Some of it he's slapping us up the side of the face with. Some of us he's being too subtle with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole explosion caused by same object meeting at 2 different points in time, or at the same from 2 different points in time meeting. That feels like setting up a Deus Ex Machina down the line.
Exactly. And speaking of the timey-wimey, I loved that line. It's timey-wimey. What am I, 6?
Yeah, that was the only funny part I laughed at.
She is such she's just cuts
She's
them off.
Tegan.
To a certain extent. Yeah, she's on that end of the spectrum as far as the companions go. And that's gonna be interesting. Now, again, I don't like that they shut down the hospital. It would have been nice to have seen it relight up, because they do have emergency backups for that. But that being said, she brought up that he's dangerous, and that's something I brought up talking about the Master. When my first episode here, I said that Chang Li was one of the most terrifying monsters in Who, because he was willing to just jump on board and follow the Master down to hell. And in that conversation also came up that that's ultimately what most of the companions do too, just for the Doctor. And the Doctor is theoretically a force for good. But she pointed out, and it's something that needed to be pointed out, I think, that the Doctor does just go ahead and do whatever the heck he wants without any regard. He thinks he's doing good. Most of the time he is doing good. But is he doing it responsibly? The answer is no. You would be hard-pressed to find someone who would say, no, he totally does all of these good things responsibly. No, he doesn't. and that's, I think it was good to call him out, and that furthers his story arc. And at least I'm hoping it will further his story arc.
Well, I mean,
he is a healing doctor.
Yeah, no, you saying it like that actually makes me think that RTD is just going back to the well then, because he's already done that once with the revelation that on planets other than Earth, doctor means warrior, because Matt Smith and David Tennant had gone so far during their periods in terms of action star and fighting. That's what the Doctor, same way that doctor became the word for healer in our language, it became the word for warrior on other planets. And yeah,
did he go back? Is he going back to that well, or is he building on that?
And that is fair. I considered that, but it feels, and maybe it's just because my brain is addled with years of cynicism, it feels more back to the well for me, but I can absolutely see and hope that it's the other way.
Russell was on also Sarah Jane's Adventures, right?
I believe so.
Because then what you guys are saying makes sense, because episode 4 says it's supposed to have a Sarah Jane Adventures feel to it and everything, that Russell kept pointing that out in that episode that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if he's rehashing all of Sarah Jane Smith's episodes that they couldn't do because of her passing and everything, and trying to throw it into this season.
It's certainly possible. At least some of them, I'm sure.
Well, writer never really throws anything out. It's just
Yeah.
the ideas stick around until they're useful again.
Or maybe we'll finally get the Trickster and we'll get more of the Pantheon.
I think we're definitely going to get more of the Pantheon.
Sorry.
Definitely. If we want to go into speculation, probably Mrs. Flood somewhere in there. But we'll wait and see if that's the case or not. Will we get the Trickster? I would certainly like to. I think that would be a great addition.
Did you?
Mr. Wingling is going to be something. Like he's got that next week is going to be an interesting show, to be sure.
Did you share your thoughts on the? I'm sorry, Dave. Did you share your thoughts on the Mrs. Flood looking into the camera and saying, you didn't see me? Like, I forgot in your review if you
not
because.
I just like the nasty look she gave when she saw the doctor.
I was kind of curious to know what you thought about that because
I think it was great. It's continuing with her fourth wall breaks. That's just a continuation of what has gone on. I think it was good to point that fourth wall break specifically was needed to really point out, oh, hey, the doctor's here. I need to get out of like that. From the time the doctor walks out and she sees him and goes, oh shit, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here before he sees me because she's not supposed to be there. Or what he thinks. He thinks she's the neighbor of Ruby.
Mm-hmm.
Also seems to now be
We're getting a strike.
Belinda's. And so
you said poop.
Yep, I did.
We're getting a strike.
I am caught myself. And YouTube is going to shame you now.
Yep, that's right.
You know, we could spare us every time he meets a companion. Thanks to the lodger, he just headbutts every companion that he comes to. We could spare 15 minutes of storyline, right?
Guys, speaking of us saying words we're not supposed to say, because of the subject matter of this episode, I'm sure during my portion of the review, I said plenty of words that YouTube didn't like me saying. So you might.
No, you were close.
Now that I noticed, yeah.
You did scientific terms, and stuff like that. Like it wasn't a zygote yet. It wasn't,
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the more serious implications of some of the. I mean, I say this as a philosophy channel. If you say, if you talk about certain subjects and you say certain words enough times, YouTube don't like that. You'll get.
Yeah, for anybody who's not familiar with YouTube, if you drop the F-bomb in the first 10 minutes of your broadcast, your whole episode becomes demonetized.
Which I did
that one.
And I'm a New Yorker, so you know how much I have to stop. I can't say that.
You see, I'm going to push the envelope, YouTube. I want to just see how long that cat plays.
Yeah, the cat.
Before you strike us.
But this is what gets me. It's the actual outline of the cat, not just poof. You see the actual cat. Like, look at this.
Yeah.
He's a raccoon or something.
I didn't.
Possum.
Smells like Griswold Christmas tree.
I'm in cat. I am a cat person. I will say that, but I also kind of found that in funny poor taste. Was it needed? No.
Poor Lucy's looking for a cat right now.
I certainly was going, jaw drop. What the did you just see? Did I just see
That's
that?
exactly what my cat looked like. My cat is sitting on my lap. She sees it and hears it and goes, where's the cat? Like she didn't know where. Like she's like, where'd it go?
And
But
I
I
had a
hear
similar
you, Dave.
reaction
I hear you because I can see, I like you probably can see Russell sitting there with his typewriter, just being like, "I'm a funny bloke. I killed the cat." Like, that's what Russell sounds like. But yeah,
and there is a certain amount of,
I changed Davros.
stakes. I think it was trying to bring less. I think it was less about there's stakes here, and more shock, a moment of shock value, because the internet's all about cats, and so by doing that, he knew exactly what was going to happen. Maybe he was hoping for something a little bit less vicious than what has happened, but the talk is there, and if nothing else, not as much of the talk is focusing on actual problems in the script or in the editing,
or her almost getting squished by robots.
Just talking about the cat, and so that's a not cool thing to do, but it is still an important note.
Did you see the robot hit her in the head when they were going in the rocket ship?
I didn't notice that one. No.
No, they literally. She's walking. She even mentions it in the Doctor Who Confidential. That she's getting squished by the robots. I'm looking at her almost getting hit in the head because the way she's like, "Wait, what the hell's happening to me?"
Yeah.
Is that like a mistake, like the stormtrooper hitting his head in episode 4, like just completely accidental? I don't know.
The super cat.
Streaky. Oh.
But with that said,
I
Christian,
have words. Yeah.
I was gonna say you have words.
I do have words.
You
None
have Faith's words.
None of
so
them
let's-
should be
let's
said on
bring
a
you up, and you
podcast.
can read Faith's thing, and you can kind of bring up some of the audiences.
Oh, what about Fates?
Yeah, that's where we're going.
That was mine. I gave it a 7. Yeah, now we're doing Faith. That's a much better picture.
Which one should I
As
put?
is that.
There
As
we
is
go.
That one.
Better.
That one.
Okay, good friend Faith Kelly. You can check her out on 101 Cosplays to See on the Instagram, and you can also find her on the also on TikTok. This was her review. She hardly does reviews at all, and unfortunately, she wasn't available. But she wrote me an email, and this is. Should I do it in her voice?
No, just
should I do it
I
in
thought you were going to use the
Whitaker?
one because she did it on her reels. She actually did this on her reels, and I was like, I was impressed.
I told her to record a video, and she goes, "I don't have
She
time."
already,
Here's
it
the
was on her
email."
reels. She already did, and that's the one I thought you were going to use.
No, I told her to send me a video, and she was like, "No, I only have time for the email." Here we go. Okay, fine, whatever. All right. Should I do it in Whitaker? Anyway, my opinions. This is from our Faith, quote unquote. My opinions on the Robot Revolution. Immediately got into the episode. I felt the pace was great. Felt like a proper Doctor Who episode and solid season opener. Much better than Space Babies, in my opinion. Well, anything better than Space Babies than anyone. Anyway, honestly, this would have made a good Cyberman episode, but the robots were cool, new, and felt proper Who with all the mechanics. They also kind of reminded me of that's what I was going to. Thank you for bringing that up. The emoji bots from the what was it, that Capaldi episode?
Yeah,
The one with Bill, right?
From when Bill was the companion. Also, we love and protect Scoot, the cleaning robot. Polish. Sometimes it takes time to. Sometimes it takes time to have the companions really shine, and usually by the second episode. But Belinda was immediately proving who she is and her confidence in what she does. I really feel she spelled it fell. I really feel she's going to be amazing going forward. She's going to be amazing going forward. So happy we have Varada Sethu. Is that how you pronounce her last name? Varada Sethu? Her real name.
Varada
Nikto.
I thought it was Sethu, maybe.
Do not go on the Army of Darkness on me. When I feel
excuse me, that's
the Earth stood still.
Yes.
Varada Sethu. When I first seen Monday in Boom, I immediately wanted her as the next companion. So whatever storyline is unraveling with those two is going to be interesting. The dynamic with Belinda and the Doctor is going to be fun to see play out. She isn't afraid to put him in his place a la Donna Noble, but in a more understanding and see what you're doing way to the Doctor, quote unquote. She feels like a mashup of Martha and Donna a bit, but has her own flair that I can't wait to explore. 1 through 10, this to her is the highest of the ratings. 8. It was a good opener. It had heart. The storyline was deep. I did not see that coming with the evil X saying Miss Belinda Chandra. Each time made me giggle. Belinda already acting as queen, ready to sacrifice herself for the entire planet and the people she doesn't even know. She has the making to be really amazing companion already. Can't wait for more with the Doctor and the nurse. And that was Faith's review.
Good thoughts. Of course, it was good thoughts. It's Faith.
A different take on it.
Now I have to do the whole thing back as Jody. So there's
you can read Mark's comments, and when you get to those in the comment section, right, you can do those in his accent.
I'll try. Sound like Candyman. Dave, are you ready for the chats?
Yes, let's do the
There we
chats.
go. Starting off with Nika back and giving it an 8. Belinda could have been more upset about her situation. AI gave Lazarus vibes as a villain, and the cat getting zapped bothered me. Also, 15 was too happy about AI being spillage.
Yeah.
Everybody take a drink when we get a cat comment. Hello, everyone. It's Raj AB. I give the Robot Revolution 8 out of 10, even though it was better than last year's Space Babies. Young Belinda Chandra gets a star named after her. Sounds familiar. This was just a separate thing from Raj. I have an Islamic Filipino cousin living by herself in either Wyoming or Washington. Well, it starts with a W for Nico and Christian. I haven't seen her in years. Okay. That was a comment to me. Daleks are forever 3 out of 10. Staying with the ranking of everybody. I saw more comments. Hang on a second. From Daleks. No, there was another comment, but it's not in here. What deluded brain would write the doctor causing a hospital power outage? Rip the patients. Wow. Okay.
That's to the point.
All right. Sophie rated it an 8. Didn't give too much as a why. Well, we do have a question. How did Mrs. Flood go from Ruby Sunday's neighbor to Belinda Chandra's?
I think that's part of what we're going to have to find out later in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is just a side note from our friend Mark, the Candyman. I'm not doing British. Your vision Doctor Who episodes may not air on
Your
the
vision
same
Doctor
day
Who
as
episodes may not air.
because FA Cup may go into extra time. If it does, Doctor might get rescheduled. This is for you, Dave. How we figured out how Dave Chapman in the Game of Thrones exactly like.
You're not gonna live that down.
We're still waiting for Fire and Ice.
Hey, they already got another nickname too, so don't worry.
Still waiting for Fire and Ice there, Dave. You need to hurry. Before you make a movie or something like that. Again, from Candyman, it was too shiny like Phantom Menace. I do like the film. The storyline was meh and disjointed and oblivious. Need more horror jump scenes and more unexpected twists. Okay.
That's what I thought this was supposed to be. There's always a twist.
There's always a twist.
Cat kill robot. Cat kill robot. Cat kill robot and came.
Wait.
She came
Cat
home
killing robot.
who can't hit space and go long way around. Okay.
Doesn't count.
From Sophie. This episode left more questions than answers, to be honest. Yeah.
Just like
she married robots. AI weird me. Okay.
Ow.
Not laughing joke to it. And Sticks Boys reminded me of the old streaming service for Whovians, Nurse Who.
Mark will have to tell us about that one later.
Yeah, because the only thing I know about Nurse is Animaniacs, where they go, "Hello, Nurse."
Hello, Nurse.
I'm just going to leave this up for the rest of the show. Anyway. And that is the chats.
Excellent.
And this is David Tennant after watching that episode. Anyway.
I mean, we could pull Sophie up. I'm sure there's got to be a reason just to bring that up.
Oh, then you gotta show the other thing about that I sent you guys with Sophie.
I don't have that.
You don't have that one I made? The one where they're coming out of the TARDIS?
Sophie's going to kill you.
No, I don't know. Yeah, if I'm going to die, I guess it's going to be death by Sophie.
We will. Yes. I'm sad that I'm not going to get to see her in June. I don't think I'm going to make it.
Here, kitty. I don't. Here, kitty. I don't see it, but what I've heard and it's more like a sci-fi movie than Doctor Who.
Flash.
Okay.
I'll just
thanks, Jim.
Say Mark is right. I that's something that I think has been in the back of my brain, and he phrased it fairly well about the Phantom Menace. This season hasn't looked cheap; it's looked too polished.
Like
this new era of Doctor Who. It's brighter, it's cleaner.
Yeah.
Like I said, she's in yellow.
Are you saying RTD is doing Joel Schumacher on Doctor Who?
I don't think intentionally. I think it's just a difference in Bad Wolf has higher end equipment and now a higher budget to do things than what BBC had. BBC has always had a certain quality about it. This is a step up from that, which does not make it a better step, but it is technically a step up. So it's impacting things.
There's an element of that, but also it's a misguided thing that the industry has done in general, basically starting in the 90s. Like in 80s movies, you still have a lot of the set deck budget and effects budget going to weathering things. And in the 90s, things started looking and being lit more artificially and more like an old car just got made. That kind of thing. They stopped going for that verisimilitude thing, and it's just gotten worse. Like that's where Phantom Menace, I 100% agree with that comparison. That universe does not look lived in. In that movie,
really not rebellion.
No, and like the Jedi do not look like they are for an order that is almost forgotten and has lost its way and its relevance in the modern world. They look like accountants. Their facilities. They have an accounting firm.
I mean, they were trying to settle taxation of trade routes. So I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
And I can agree with that too, because I mean, I think like if you look at Doctor Who season 1, or well, I should say series 1 from 2005, right? The second episode where they're looking at the destruction of Earth. If you look at the at that space station, like some of it looks very cheap, right? It looks cheap, but the lighting on it, that color palette, I prefer the heck out of that to like when we were like, I think Dot and Bubble from last season, I didn't like that episode, but it looked really pristine. Like you can see,
I think it worked for that one for sure.
I mean, I think like in that episode, you can see like every single strand of hair on the characters' heads, right? Like it's very well shot. Like the camera looks very high quality, but I think I don't know. I prefer the cheaper look that focuses more on like lighting and more on trying to make it. I mean, I don't mind an artificial look. You know, I don't want everything to necessarily, you know, like SpongeBob said, like everything is chrome in the future. I don't want everything to look chrome all the time, you know? So I can agree with that.
Yeah, like the other comparison I'd make is through the Bill and Ted movies. First two, the future is fun, vibrant. It's a cheap looking, we're in the 80s imagining this future kind of thing. And then when they made the third one, and I'm sure it was much cheaper to do it with the CGI, looks like Apple owns the future now. And it's boring and sterile.
That's a given. Except androids are better.
But I get what you're saying, though.
Yeah.
Well, let me read this one real fast. It's from Timescales. The Robot Revolution is sitting at a solid 6.9. 10 out of 10 from the initial 35 ratings and reviews. Yeah, I said it. What is that? Valor just says Power Rangers.
Well,
that's a later episode. That's a later episode.
Yeah, that's the aesthetic that
I've been threatened by Candyman. He just says, "Remember, Sophie has your number." Is she going to say?
She's going to kill you.
She probably will, but she has to remember that she will be possibly in a future episode. Sticks Boy says, "My review is this: NBC. Oh, I got you. Must not shocked by her situation, but knew her family would be. The planet seems too new, but yet able to fly to Earth and know where to go. The characters were fine. B+, 7 out of 10. So,
how many times has the Earth been messed up?
No. That's a whole nother episode. We're not.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying, because like everyone's pointing out, how did they miss the Eiffel Tower just like as you open the door. Couldn't you have seen the Eiffel Tower?
I'm just gonna open
Or the
I'm just gonna
JF-38
pop
blowing
the
up the
can
Statue of
open.
Liberty?
We'll do
I'm
an
just-
episode in the future after the season
Mhm.
of what is the best and worst destructions of the earth, or near destruction.
Eccleston had a destruction, right?
Oh, come
The
on.
other
Global
one- the other
warming's my favorite.
Hey, I would
Got
pay.
it.
Climate change.
It's too cold out anyway.
I would pay to see the Doctor open the TARDIS door only for like the tip of the Eiffel Tower to just come through the door. You know,
That
it's
would've
bigger
been-
on the
that
inside.
would have made more sense, like the Titanic going through the TARDIS the last time.
That's right.
Yeah,
just
and
the tip.
Ncuti Gatwa just has the voice of David Tennant. All of a sudden, he's like, "What?" Just
Well, didn't he do that? He did that in this episode. They all went, "What?" And I was like, "Really?"
So
yes, what is the 14th Doctor doing these days when the universe is getting screwed?
He's having tea with.
he's protecting the moles.
Oh, jeez.
From Wilford. He's going like, yeah.
All right, folks. I think we've got everybody's reviews in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Let's see where we can find everybody here. And we'll draw this to a slight close. Our philosophy is where
People can find me on YouTube at Our Philosophy Is. And I do all kinds of content. I do Doctor Who stuff when I get it turned in time to the teacher. Most of the time I don't. But I am just now working on some sci-fi stuff. I like to read classic literature. I've been focusing on H.G. Wells. So I am going to be talking about classic literature. And one of the books that I just reviewed was read by Mr. David Tennant in the Audible edition. So I'll be talking about that. So yeah, head on over there if you want to see some philosophical discussions about literature and timey-wimey stuff and everything like that.
Ooh, I like it. I'm gonna have to head over there. Let's see, Gadget. Where can we find you?
Anywhere and everywhere. Like I said, I'll be probably at
Your
Bronx
house.
Comic Con in August, on August 2nd, 21st through the 24th for Anime NYC. I'm also trying to get to the Build convention as part of B&H photos and everything, where they're going to have content creators, photographers, and podcasters and everything. It's supposed to be in June. It's free if anybody's here in New York. If you want to stop by it and everything, you just got to pick a category and everything. But that, as well as other conventions that are probably going to pop up that hopefully are free, because when you're unemployed, that's all you can go to. Also, if you want to pick up the books, they're on at lulu.com and everything, because hopefully I'll get to work on the next 3 books, because they're all in like little pieces right now of the game book. But I just need some ideas, because copyright is killing me on Doctor Who stuff, because one person kid, he wanted it to be like Doctor Who, and it can't do it because there's one thing that we can't put in. Yep.
And David, where can we find your fabulousness?
Mostly wandering malls, looking for the ultimate soft yogurt and muttering to myself, but also on crossingthethemes.wordpress.com. I've got like 3 posts that I keep meaning to put up but haven't, so let's see if that happens within the remainder of my lifetime.
I'm sure it'll happen before the end of the world. Reverend Amagon, where can we find you?
You can find me at Spill the Geek Tea, where Sunday we're going to be discussing Easter. As Candyman talks about the religious part, I throw in my idea of religious part, and anyone else that's on the show, Dave, I'm not sure. Greg, definitely. We will discuss, just our memories and such while I work on my channel to do some more tasty snacks.
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom.
As for me, you can find me on my channel, TheRatHole.CA, on the YouTubes, where I do all sorts of fun gaming related things. Of course, you can find me here on the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS every week, and you can find me here on the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS at, depending on somewhere between midnight and 3 a.m., depending on where you are in North America, 8 a.m. in the UK, as we do the watch parties for this season.
You're crazy.
That's right.
He is.
Forgoing my sleep for all of y'all.
He's on Canadian time.
Yeah, I'm on Canadian time. I'm on Mountain Time.
You can
But
catch me
yeah,
under
so you
this
can find me
logo.
there. You can also find me on Spill the Geek Tea. There'll be a great episode that I had a fair bit of involvement in 2 weeks here. So definitely check that pre-recorded one out. And I'll be on Earth Station Who this week, which is where I'm headed off to basically right now to record that. So you can tune in there.
Traitor.
On Friday.
Oh wow, you can find me behind this icon, but you can also put me back. You're not
no. It's part of the show.
You're gonna put. You can find me at Space Coast Comic Con and the Traveling TARDIS June 14th and 15th. For more information, go to spacecoastcomiccon.com. Again, that weekend, we're going to have a lot of fun out there, but definitely you want to come out there. Tons and tons of geekdom out there, including Doctor Who. But also, in September 12th through the 14th, at ancientcitycon.com, you can get your tickets and book your rooms for the World Golf Village Renaissance Resort. They do provide discounted rates through their website. So again, ancientcitycon.com, taking place September 12th through the 14th at the World Golf Village Renaissance Resort. Not only are the Traveling TARDIS team are going to be out here, but the Daleks of Florida will also be out there. That includes Dalek Hal and all of his buddies are going to be out there that weekend. So don't forget to book your tickets now. Don't forget, we will be doing the watch party this Saturday, sponsored by TheRatHole.CA of Lux. So don't catch Dave and who happens to be up that hour. It's crazy enough to be up at that hour. Candyman, yeah, I forgot. Unless he's got his construction going on behind him, and I don't think he cares.
I feel bad for him.
He'll still be up because of stupid construction. I'll go to Wall Street.
Again, Lux will be premiering that morning. Keep an eye out on our social media, and this is hosted by TheRatHole.CA.
There's also one thing. This Easter Sunday will be a marathon of Doctor Who on BBC America. I forgot about that. They just posted it again. I just saw it on the newsfeed.
Nice.
Very nice.
When? What?
Easter Sunday, all day marathon, Doctor Who, for all the fans out there. They're going to be doing it all day for Easter.
Oh, so working, the live show, missed it again. Okay.
So chocolate marshmallows and Cadbury cream. Oh, and he's making me hungry. And speaking of hungry, anyway.
On pizza? Are you a turtle?
I'm still, I haven't eaten anything yet.
No, wait, he put it on pizza. I'm like, wait, that's what I think that's Donatello or Raphael's favorite.
Alrighty. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and wrap it up there, folks. Don't forget to say goodnight to Simon on the way out. And again, please, until the next adventure, thank you so much for joining us as we say goodnight to Simon and we get out of here. Good night, Simon.
Good night, Simon.
Good night.
Tony, take us out. Everybody, we'll see you next week.